Hello, everyone. Good day. This is Hadiola. I'm here again for a menstrual health talk, and today I'll be talking about the risk of leaving menstrual hygiene products on for too long. So, to start, just some statistics. Um, Comparing people's residence and the type of menstrual products they use based on their residence. Firstly, people in urban areas, about 70% have access to menstrual hygiene products. And those people who live in the rural areas, like the coast of the Atlantic Ocean in Ibejuleki local government, which is our catchment area, we have a higher number of women who do not have access to menstrual hygiene products. And then when we talk about the type of menstrual hygiene products they make use of, generally we have up to almost 50% of women make use of clothes. And by that we mean people who just cut pieces of fabric, old wrappers, and then use them as their menstrual hygiene products. We have up to 33.3% access to sanitary napkins. And then there is another 12% of people who have access to prepared napkins. Some people know how to do some do-it-yourself napkins, and they have access to some ready-made prepared napkins. And then we have another 2.4% of people with access to tampons. And unfortunately, but really, we have up to 0.2% of people with access to nothing. That means they do not have access to any menstrual hygiene products at all. And all those people are in our own areas. We have many of those people, especially the young adults, the new menstruators who do not have access to anything that they could use. And this exposes them to the dangers, the health dangers, and as well as the social dangers that could be associated with that. So today, like I said, we're talking about leaving menstrual hygiene products on for too long. And it doesn't matter what type of menstrual hygiene products you're making use of, whether you're using the pad, tampon, a menstrual cup, you're using pieces of clothing, you shouldn't be left on for too long. And why do we not need to leave this on for too long? One very important reason is because of bacterial growth. The warm, moist condition created by the presence of the menstrual fluid on the menstrual products and in the area around the groin provides the atmosphere for the proliferation of microorganisms. That means they have access to the materials they need to grow. So one of the risks is that when bacteria begin to multiply, we have the risk of infection. And one very important infection is the toxic shock syndrome, usually caused by the Staphylococcus aureus bacteria. We'll talk about that in more details later. We also have irritation and odor. How do we get to the irritation? Because when moist materials stay around the growing area and touching the skin for too long, then it begins to cause irritation around the skin, and then we have skin chafing. It becomes very uncomfortable for the menstruators. And then due to the presence of the atmosphere that is pleasant for microorganisms to grow, they grow and produce the unpleasant odor, and also the menstrual fluid itself, when it stays on there for too long, becomes sticky and can begin to produce the unpleasant odor. Those are also part of the effects of leaving menstrual hygiene products on for too long. And of course, we also have increased risk of yeast or urinary tract infection when menstrual hygiene products are left on for too long as a result of the moisture that creates a perfect environment for the growth of the yeast or other microorganisms. And it's not just for pads, whatever my menstrual hygiene products we're wearing, leaving it on for too long can They stop the vaginal pH balance and such create a condition for the proliferation of microorganisms. And then these microorganisms, if you still keep wearing uh, the menstrual hygiene products, especially tampons, it can, because it's inserted into the vagina, then that means it can easily help to move microorganisms up the stream, not just up the reproductive tract. It can also help to move it even into the urinary tract, leading to urinary tract infections. It can also lead to chafing due to the skin rubbing against the skin around the hip area, the lap, the inner groin area, rubbing against each other in that warm, moist condition. It can lead to what is called intrigo, which is simply skin chafing. So I did mention that I was going to talk about toxic shock syndrome in more details. It's a rare condition, it rarely occurs. It's a very serious condition when it's left for too long. And when we say too long, we're talking about leaving it beyond 4 to 6 hours. So when you're getting into the 8 hours or into the 12 hours, then that is too long. It can cause the release of toxins by the Staphylococcus aureus bacteria, and these begin to proliferate in the blood-soaked tampons and then travel and cause the toxic shock syndrome. The toxic shock syndrome has certain symptoms that are associated with it, and these symptoms include fever, there is muscle ache, and there is vomiting in the area. We can have a sunburn-like rash that later peels off. It can also lead to low blood pressure, shock, multi-organ failure, and even into death. It can result into death, it can become fatal. So it can develop within 12 hours in some cases, and that's how fast the disease can develop. So to avoid having this, please change your menstrual hygiene product often. Um, and then there is also the absorption issues that can result from leaving your menstrual hygiene products for too long. What do I mean? You can begin to leak, and of course, that's an embarrassing condition for a menstruator. While where before you know it, you're stained where you're seated, or even where you're walking, your whole clothes is stained because um the menstrual hygiene product is oversaturated or too full, and then it begins to spill over and leak out, and then it leads to embarrassment. Also, because of the health of the vaginal flora, leaving that blood on for too long can change the pH of the vagina, thus affecting even the beneficial microorganisms that's supposed to live in there, and leading to proliferation of the harmful microorganisms. So, what are the recommendations? What do you need to do? Includes changing the menstrual hygiene product. Like for tampon, it should be changed every 4 to 8 hours, depending on the flow. If it's a very heavy flow, it will be changed more often. And if it's a flow that is moderate, or maybe it's in the last days, then you can change less often, but do not leave one in for more than 12 hours. I would even say don't leave one in for more than 8 hours. That's for a tampon. Then for a pad, you should change them regularly, typically between 4 to 6 hours. But if you need to do that sooner, please change it. If you feel it's ever you're uncomfortable and there is the risk of leaking, then please change it sooner. For menstrual cups, you have to empty and clean your cup at least once every 12 hours. You have to empty it and clean it. For the menstrual cup, that's the one that can stay in the longest every 12 hours, but ensure you clean it before you replace it. Or if you have an extra, make sure you are always cleaning your menstrual cups. So, and many people also find the need to change their menstrual cups more often. So that will depend on you and on your need. All right, then. Thank you so much today for listening to the reasons why you need to change your menstrual hygiene products more often, why you shouldn't just leave them in. And join us next time when I'll be bringing another topic that we'll be discussing it on how to ensure that you maintain a healthy menstrual life. So I'll say this is from Etna Cares, and we do really care. Thank you so much once again, and see you next time.